Hello, Facebook Live viewers. I'm Juliegrace Brufke coming to you here live from Capitol Hill with House Ways and Means Chairman Kevin Brady. Thank you so much for joining us, Chairman.
Thanks, Juliegrace. Love being here.
So you just had an exciting moment. The House overwhelmingly passed its tax bill. How are you feeling right now?
So very excited for the American people, mainly because, look, it's been 31 years that we've had to live with this broken tax code. I don't know anyone in my district who says, woohoo, keep what we got. They just believe it's costly and complex, it's unfair, and got all these loopholes. And they also know we've just seen all these Texas jobs and companies leave the country, and they want it to come back. So today it's a historic vote, but it's not the last vote. We still have work to do, and there's still plenty of this reform bill that I've got ideas from our members in Congress about how to make it better.
So you've been working with the Big Six for months, getting on the same page with the Senate, the White House. How do you think this is differed from health care, and what were you able to learn from that to be able to kind of bring things together?
When people ask what's the difference with health care, that one action where the White House with the President, House and Senate tax writers worked for months to come together on one plan has really made a huge difference, because if you noticed, the House tax reform plan, the Senate tax reform plan are all shooting at the same target. You know, they may take a little different paths, but still it's I can't imagine what it would be without it. So having the President all in on this, having members really want to deliver for the American people, that's really made a difference.
So now that the House has passed it, the Senate's got their bill. Ron Johnson was the first person to come out yesterday against the Senate bill, arguing that he thought both the House and Senate bill kind of fought more for corporate America than Main Street. Do you think that's a valid criticism, and do you think that the carried interest rate's going to be a problem in the final bill for pass-throughs?
Yes, so I disagree with Senator Johnson in this regard. I've met with him twice about his bill and visited by phone as well a third time. So, look, it's got really good ideas. I encouraged him to work with the Senate Finance Committee and his members to make the case for his ideas. I've learned you don't always win every policy debate in tax reform. The question is, do you want to stick with the old, current, terrible mess of a code, or do we want to deliver something new? So I think his criticism is not fair, because we spend more tax relief on those small and medium-sized businesses that aren't C corporations, and so much on our families who are the workers for those companies. I really feel like we're doing great work for small businesses on Main Street.
Now, with both parties, I feel like we've seen kind of a populist movement, and I feel like with criticisms that Democrats have come out with, and what Senator Johnson's saying, are you worried about the political optics for 2018?
Yeah, I'm not, because I think when people, separate what they're seeing in some of the media versus what their real tax bill is, when Main Street businesses, when families realize that, look, going simple and fair as a postcard, knowing that we know what each other's deductions are because we have exactly the same ones, there's a fairness there, and there's a freedom from all the headaches of tax code and filing. I think American people are hungry for that.
Now, for the lower income brackets, they're going to see a cut. I forget which study it was, but there's an estimate that 81 million people would pay $0 in federal income tax. Are you worried at all that people that are kind of utilizing programs like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, that it's going to end up growing government, people not paying into the system?
It's a great question. If we do tax reform right, and I believe we do, like Reagan and President John F. Kennedy, we'll get this economy going. So some people may be in the zero tax bracket today. We want them in higher tax brackets because they've got a good paying job. It's growing. Their paychecks are getting bigger, and they've got more money in their pocket to spend. So this whole goal is to grow America, grow jobs, grow paychecks. And by the way, why don't we get some jobs back from overseas?
So a lot of corporations are kind of sitting on a large pile of earnings, and we've seen kind of stagnant job growth or minimal job growth and increases of wages. Do you think this bill addresses that?
Yeah, it really does, because what drives paychecks isn't profits, because you can get that by cutting workers. It's investment. When businesses, and they've been afraid to for the past 8 years or so, afraid to invest in that new plant, that new equipment, that software and technology. We, for the first time, allow them to write that off from the taxes the very first year they do it. So that what they call expensing, what I call unleashing business investment, that drives productivity. And when workers are more productive, their paychecks go up. That's what we're looking to do.
So the House bill, the top income brackets, 39.6, I believe. For high income or high state taxes like California, where it's like 13.3%, see you'd have high earners having more than 50% of their paycheck go toward taxes. Is that a concern of yours?
Well, look, I think there's more below the rates. And in fact, the Reagan reforms were about just the rates. Look carefully at this tax reform, because underneath those rates, you see a cut at every income level. You see eliminating the alternative minimum tax. That's like between a $7,000 and $10,000 tax on those high tax state taxpayers. And so you see a lot of good things underneath the rate that provide relief, but more importantly, reward people for working hard and investing in that business and giving back, into the economy. That's what we want to do.
So once the House and the Senate bill go to conference, I guess what are kind of your concerns, and what do you really want to see in there? Are you worried about things like the state and local tax, things that they kind of did to take care of New York and New Jersey delegations, that it's not going to make it in there?
So we're going to pick the best of both plans and find better solutions. In fact, what I'm excited about today is not just what we passed. We've got lots of ideas our members brought to us from their communities to make this even better. I do know this, that the state and local property tax deduction in the House will remain. We've made that commitment to our lawmakers in these high tax states, and we're going to keep it.
So last question for you. What is your favorite part of this bill? What are you most excited about?
Gosh, there's so much. The simplicity, the thought that 9 out of 10 Americans could file on a postcard. And for really decades, people said, why can't we do that? And Washington never listened. Well, we've been listening. And it's exciting the thought we could just clear out all those special tax breaks for some, lower the rates, and simplify it. To me, that may be, besides the growth and leapfrogging America back into the lead, that's probably my favorite part.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for tuning in, and make sure to check out all our coverage on dailycaller.com.